My topic is George W. Bush's response to the Hurricane Katrina disaster. On the first day when Hurricane Katrina passes through Louisiana, this day is a Monday. I have no research for what George W. Bush did on this Monday, but I have research for the days that precede Monday. So on Tuesday, George W. Bush attends a VJ meeting to honor all of the troops who fought and won against Japan in 1945. It's a veterans meeting, a veterans commemoration about beating Japanese people half a century ago. It's not very important. And soon after he does this on the Tuesday, he goes to vacation in his home in Texas. So now, 2 days after Hurricane Katrina passes through Louisiana, George W. Bush is in Texas, and he finally says or gets briefed, oh my gosh, we have to go to Washington, D.C. So, 2 days after George W. Bush hears about Katrina, and he knows that people in New Orleans are underwater, he knows that the town of New Orleans is 85% underwater, he goes to Washington, D.C. Okay, so on his journey, he actually passes over Louisiana and New Orleans, and he visits, he doesn't visit, he looks out of his plane window, and he sees the people, he sees the town destroyed, he sees the flood, okay? And there's pictures of him looking out of the window, looking at the destroyed town of New Orleans. So, he finally reaches Washington, D.C. after looking at and probably thinking about all of the people who are suffering in New Orleans. He arrives in Washington, D.C., and then the next day, Thursday, which is 3 days after Hurricane Katrina passes through Louisiana, so Hurricane Katrina's gone, and people have been waiting for government help for 3 days. George W. Bush goes to a Good Morning America show, and I have a quote for something that he said regarding this Katrina matter. And he says, I fully understand people wanting things to have happened yesterday. So he's saying, oh boy, we could have done something yesterday, but we didn't do anything yesterday. I understand the anxiety of people on the ground. So there is frustration, but I want people to know there's a lot of help coming. He has optimism, and he does eventually make a relief package, but it doesn't happen until the next day. So 4 days after people are waiting, they want food, shelter, and water, they haven't gotten any support from the government, and George W. Bush finally signs this $10.5 billion relief package. It's crazy! And on this day, George W. Bush also visits a town in Mississippi to check out what's going on. It's nothing as severe as New Orleans in Louisiana, but he still visits people who were affected by the storm. Although this is 4 days after the storm passes, and people have been trying to help their societies, trying to fix what the storm broke for 4 days. They've just been doing whatever they've been doing. They've been living off of rooftops, paddling from their home to possible grocery stores. They've been waiting, and George Bush finally does something to intervene on this 4th day. So, Hurricane Katrina passes through Louisiana on August 29th, 2005, and George W. Bush finally signs this package to help all of these people 4 days later on September 2nd, 2005. Just almost forgot the dates. That's what I did. So, thank you for listening, and have a good day.